Dude, I'm stoked. Got my Venture RC going on. I got to, rep as much as we can. Got my carry all, got to have the carry all up there.
Yeah, I got some.
Got to.
I got those patches coming your way soon.
All right. Hey, guys, what is going on, YouTube land? We are sitting over here. I got the United States representative for Treal Hobby, Mr. Peter Lundberg. And, man, I've had an opportunity to meet him on a couple of occasions, including but not limited to a G6 Sorka Light event from Back Hills up in PA. Man, how are you?
Hey, buddy, good to be back. Thank you for having me on the channel here. Yeah, it's been crazy. We look back at the pandemic, crawling and what it was, and how we struggled through the pandemic. How we even had a recon. I met a lot of good. I met a lot of great guys. Adam, Mike, George. The whole G staff. That was Treal's first sponsor kind of breakout. Into the U.S. market. Now, Treal's been around since 2015, but I think in the last 7 months we catapult the brand with the drivers, and the dealers, and you guys, the fans. So G6 was like our first, launch to the wild, and we met a lot of great people. Displayed a lot of product, and then it continued to White Rose, which was a great event. Good people up there as well, and then taking place this week is the Moab, which we have close, I know you as well. We have some prize packs up there for the G6 part of it. So, we're doing really good. And, I have to thank, the fans and also the dealers, without your help and, the 11 team drivers who really work around the clock promoting Treal. And, we're in a good spot. The goals for the brand, some of our long-term goals are to be at a Pro Line by the Fire Axial Fest. And, we want to be at those bigger events. So, for the last 7 months, it's been tough, for everybody, families, budgets. I think I bought more RCs during the pandemic than I should have. But, I don't think the RC hobby has died down during the pandemic. I think sales are up across the board everywhere. But yeah, I mean, happy to be involved in a growing brand, and happy to be back with you, MJ.
Hey, man, it's great to have you back. I think our first chit chat was maybe about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I don't even remember how it got through. Maybe I think it was Instagram that brought us together.
Yeah.
And you've and then you bought it. Full disclosure, guys. He happened to buy that element that if you watch his Instagram at RC Team Zone, that's what it is? RC _Team Zone.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put that over here in the chat as well, so everybody can follow you. RC _Team Zone. I'm watching that truck just develop. I love it. The beautiful thing is, first and foremost, it's a solid truck. Second, watching that element and the Axial and whatnot be a platform for Treal. Because I know my first experience was through the TRX4 segment. Yeah, and plus, you figure right up here, this particular truck has some Recon G6 history and lots of Treal love on it.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring up the element. The element is a hot item. The product line is, the Gatekeeper. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, I did get my first element from MJ, and, I'm proud to say that, for the 2 out of 3 laps I completed, because I had the COVID 40 probably, it held up. And, at the end of the event, it turned out that even screws out of transmission loosened, and that thing still ran for 2 solid straight laps. And, the truck is involved, and, now we go into IFS, the hot situation. Guys are running it. Guys like it. Some don't. I have IFS on the Toyota that I have, and I think it's a good setup. You have to get used to it, different drive style. I like the solid axle front, behind the, axle steering, that's a good setup as well. But, people got their eyes on Element. Element's producing a lot of top quality rigs. I got a pre-order like everybody else in the world, waiting and counting the days down for the Gatekeeper, which is soon, we keep hearing.
Are, are, are you sure that it's, you're not counting, every moment, just only every other?
Every other. I'm waiting for that email that it's shipped because all my parts are held up with the pre-order. So that so I'm waiting for a big box, I guess. But that's my winter build. So yeah, the IFS. I mean the Trail Runner, and it's a great. Mike George and I, collaborated. He got it first, and I'm a big, beach guy, and I seen some forerunners on the beach, and that gave me the inspiration. And it's going to be probably more. I know you make fun of me, all my fancy rigs, but that's probably going to be one of my show and shine. I don't think I'm going to spend a lot of investment into the under the hood, but as far as my next project is definitely going to be the Gatekeeper. I'm going to do a 4S system. We talked about that, and Treal. Back to Treal. Speaking of Element, there are going to be parts in development. I'll go over some sneak peeks of some.
Yes, please. Yeah. I know I'm personally bugging you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I'll give the fans and everybody that's watching a little sneak peek of kind of what's in the product line. I got a couple products that I'm going to go over that we're developing next. So I guess we'll just jump into what's doing good with Treal, what's in the horizon. As everybody knows, we just released that beadlock. So
oh man, that the fact that it works so well with the Vanquish. And because I mean, those are like the industry standard across the board. That I mean, literally, I don't know if you saw it too much on the applause, but I've been hearing through the chatter. Awesome move, awesome move.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I want to note is that we listen to our customers, right? Everybody knows Trail Fans Group. If you don't know it, please follow it on Facebook, and I monitor the chat room and I respond, and as long as my counterpart. And the fans wanted a versatile wheel. They wanted changeable SLWs. They wanted to change their rings to match their build. I'm looking on my iPad right now. The wheels are going fast. We started out 2 days ago. We still have inventory left, but they're going quickly. I have sets that are coming in the mail. It's a great wheel. I have a prototype. I posted pictures the other day of my 10-2. That's the silver with the black rings on Pitbull tires. And they're a great wheel, and especially for the price point, $69 for 4 with scale hardware and a tool. And we went a step further for you TRX6 guys. You could buy single wheels, so no more sets of 4 having leftovers.
Thank you.
Yes, right behind you to the left.
That thing gets sent more than anybody else can believe. So thank you. I'm surprised I haven't broken a wheel, to be honest with you, because those are some Vanquish eBay special wheels.
We gotta get you hooked up. So if you go to trailhobby.com, there's a new link now that says wheels and accessories. I'm looking at it. You could buy single wheels, the sets of 4. You could even buy scale hardware on its own, and the tool on its own, and the rings. So we kind of amped up production on that, because we wanted this wheel to be a good quality, cost effective product compared to Vanquish and all the major players out there.
With the actual, I know this is a little bit technical, but with the actual rings, are they the 24 bolt rings?
24, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So look, I gotta throw a quick brand sponsor guy right here. Northwest Scalar Design only made like 50 or 100 of these, and they're COVID-19 rings. They're flat out my favorites. Hold on, I'm gonna bring her down because this is my sponsored out truck, right? And it gets used. I love these rings. COVID-19, and clearly I know these aren't Treal wheels, but now that y'all see, y'all know. they will end up being Treal wheels on this particular truck. You have literally made my day. Oh, all right, and one of our guys over here, Adam, uh, actually G Crew Adam, Mr. Adam Hopler. I hope I said your name right because I probably never will. Is it M2, 2.5, or 3 scale hardware?
The M2,
M2. All right, cool.
X M2 Cuphead. Um, yeah, I mean, I think the vision that we went with is we all have sets of Vanquish, right? We all spent. I mean, I know my bomber with tires and wheels and hubs was 400 or 500, out the door, and so for the guys that like, I mean, you get a set of Vanquish, right? You'll never have to. I mean, mine haven't broken unless people have broken, haven't heard of it, but we wanted to come up with a cost-effective wheel. So check out Treal Hobby. Those wheels are a killer right now. They have black on black. The color combinations are sweet. You can match your build. I know Adam makes a lot of good custom rigs and likes to make everything match accordingly. So check them out. So the next product that's doing very well is the 10-3 axles. So we look at the AR-45s. A lot of guys, these axles go very quick. So for the custom builders that do, rear steering,
Yeah.
take a look because the fronts go faster, and production wise, the 10-3 axles are just selling like hotcakes. And I know you have them right there.
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm not a team driver. Just got some stuff. But one of the team drivers, just to kind of to give the audience a little the short version, right? One of the team drivers' wife had a breakdown right before the big G6 event, which Treal was sponsoring. And I just said, all right, hey, take my 10-3, go. And one of their team drivers said, all right, her husband said, I'm going to fix it and, we'll get it back to you. And he hooked it up, guys. Like, this is one, and honestly, a test to see the dust on this. It completed a camel trophy, rocks. I'm hard on a truck, guys. The axles, if you look underneath, the axles, they got some scratches, they got some love, but they're not gouging, and they slide over rocks really well. So props to Treal with what you guys are using for the coating. And aren't you CNCing your
Yeah.
axles?
Yeah, so the axles and a lot of the machinery is CNC aluminum. So we have 10 CNC machines, 8 lathe machines. So a lot of the production line is coming out of the CNC process machine. So those axles I would recommend if you're a 10-3. In that example, I was right next to you. A lot of the guys, when that happened, thought it had a design flaw with Treal axles. Well, it turns out we found out, right, that it was the stock gearing in
It was
those
the
portals.
portal.
So my recommendation, and I've seen this on Facebook, a lot of people are busting lately. I see broken portal gears, and we all know how social media is, right? One broken part, the brand's awful. I'm never buying it again. But I've heard from many people to harden steel those portal gears, but the axles are going fast. The other product is the Capra axles. Now, I will be honest to the fans because I'm, about transparency. The Capra market is a very tough market for Treal. A couple of years back, we designed an axle, and there was a floor to it. Now we've improved with the V2s. If anybody's seen my Capra with the silver axles, similar to the finish of a Vanquish axle, fantastic. They're selling fast. They're well designed, CNC aluminum. But when we post in that market, it's very challenging. And what I mean by challenging is there's a lot of Capra axles on the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Vanquish, we have Shafty, a lot of great products. Treal is not trying to promote a brand that we're going to be number one and we're the best, and that's it. We're coming up with quality products at a reasonable price for customers to afford when you have 15, 20 rigs and you don't want to spend $600 on axles. So that's more of our mission and what we're trying to accomplish with the push of the products.
See, that totally makes sense. I mean, we've all go through the buy it, spend $1,000 on like on top of the RTR, right, and figure out what you want. That's just part of the hobby. That's the everything comes full circle. But what I really like about what the company is doing, and as you highlighted, your particular, I guess your the vision of Treal itself is to produce a high quality product for a solid price point. That I think is where you guys are going to do by far the best. I mean, clearly you guys have had decisions and discussions on and probably meetings upon meetings and redundancy department of redundancies. But what I really would, and I think as a fan of Treel, what I definitely would like to see some like the 10-3 axles. Um, there's only right now there's only one company who does the what even just the portal gears, and that would be Team Garage Hack. Great stuff, by the way. I am running their stuff. I'm running their overdrive right now. And you know, and the other part would be like just the gears themselves for the ring and pinion. All you can get is the Axial at least at this time, and it's it's the Capra stuff. Um, is Am I getting ahead of in the questioning? Because I know you know where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah. Now keep going.
That's all right. All right. So is that going to be a future product or a future discussion to work? And I mean, I might as well throw in the under and overdrive as well, because some
Yeah.
people do like to overdrive the axle, not the portal gears. And
Yeah.
then yeah,
Yeah, so one of the things too that the customers have been asking for, if you look in the Trail fans, is the underdrive overdrive, and we do have some available. I remember giving one at the Recon G6, helped Tim Durr out. Um, so what we want to do is expand this line into. I know you asked for the Element, piece, and as far as the gears, totally capable of doing it. But there has to be a vision, right? So some of the new products, if we skip down, we'll go back to some of the other hot sellers, is 10-2 axles. Now, one of the biggest customer requests from White Rose, from G6, was where's the 10-2 axles? Where's the Element axles? That's what we keep hearing. Now, the beadlocks are out, they're in production, great. What's next? What's next for Treal? Like what's going to be the next big thing? Now we look at the 10, I got my first leaf truck, joining the leaf life. What's wrong with developing 10-2 axles with the leaf spring adapter in the box? Now there's only one company I know of that makes that handy dandy piece. So one of the visions is next in the production line. Now the 10-2 is a solid platform in my opinion, not going anywhere. They still sell parts. It's a universal axle AR-44 that works on leaf trucks. I'm about to put them on my leaf truck, and you could also incorporate 10-2 rigs and make them leaf with the conversion kit, right? So I don't think a 10-2 axle is a bad move for Treal. I mean, it's highly suggested. We're also going to work on underdrive, overdrive across the board. For Element, I want to get into Element in a second because there's going to be a big push on Element. But we do have underdrive, overdrive for certain RCs. But so 10-2 is on the horizon. And for the reef drivers, you've seen the wheels. A lot of companies now are getting into the no prep scene. That's
yep.
Treal's looking into that as well. There's a lot of parts. You have the slash conversion drag kit. There's it's a hot market right now. And then next is the basher scene. This is one market that they want to experiment with. With the Max and the X Max. We release parts for the Max, but the crawler parts, in my vision, are going to come before or in development first, or at the same time as the basher market. In my opinion, the audience, you want to diversify the portfolio, let's say. You have your crawlers, you have your drag, and then you have your basher. So that's the three avenues that we're trying to expand into. Once the colder months come, drag, you know, is it going to be as popular as people building a 10-2 in a garage? I don't know, right? You have to tune drag cars, right? So where are you going to run them in snow? So that market might not be as popular back to until it gets hotter. I could be wrong. But so we're going to focus on those three avenues next. The element parts, as I'm a big element guy, there's plenty parts left to develop. Everybody I know has an element, at least one in their squad. So there's plenty of parts left Trail can develop.
If you look above my shoulder, other here, that's a full leafed element. That gray TF2. Well, let me rephrase that. It's a TF2 with element axles on it, and a lot of it comes down to what their gearing is, what and whatnot. And because of the overdrive flip that I did on a transmission, it's still spinning those front tires way too much, and that's the truck I'm waiting for at the underdrive, so I can put it in the front and calm it down to maybe 30%, 30%. I know personal aspect in there too, but so there's reasoning behind my madness and my like.
Yeah, and that's we would like to provide a portfolio that's diverse, right? We just don't want to develop three brands, right? We know Traxxas, right? We know Axial, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the element parts go, there's so many different parts that, in my opinion, that can be developed. We're talking axles, element axles, we're talking shock towers, we're talking underdrive, IFS parts. Bauhaus has that adapter. There's plenty of parts that can be developed. You have the gatekeeper now. So element's going to be top on the list as well, besides the 10-2 axles and the basher parts and the drag parts.
Anything also with now this is going to sound a bit random because my truck setup, but anything planned for Red Cat as well, especially the Gen 8s?
Not to my knowledge at the top of the production list moving forward, but if there's anything specific, definitely let me know.
Okay, because I've been watching some of the through the Gen 8 forums. I'll add you into them so you can keep an eye on it too and see what the customers are looking for. And I think the big thing there is the overdrive underdrive.
Yeah,
like that's I think that's consistent across every platform. So blessing and a curse, at least the element and Axial can be pretty similar, maybe sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, those are the future avenues we're looking to drive down. The element, bashing, drag, and then I can't forget about our mini me trucks, right? The 24.
Oh yeah, there's 124s.
Yeah. So I can't.
Daughter's build.
Yeah, there's not many people that get that joke on Facebook, but
one of those trucks up there somewhere is my daughter's.
Yeah. So my daughter has nice wheels, but at a time, people will argue this opinion with me, but at a time, the 24 was just hot, right? People were just buying. How could I make this thing scale? I have one. Everybody probably has a 24 in their squad. Treal made quite a few parts, shocks. They got a nice product line out, but we got a lot of feedback. Where's the wheels? Where's the 1.0? Like, are you guys going to make like a 1.0? And that's something that we're going to release pretty soon, just to get the full product portfolio, because Hot Racing, if you're a 24 fan, Hot Racing owns the market. They have all the links. They have all the steering rods. And, Treal was going to go down that avenue. A lot of people like it. I got some feedback from Hobbytown guys over there, Jersey crawlers, saying, that front steering rod in the 24 always breaks. Hot Racing, is really the only manufacturer. And so we're going to develop some more parts, but, the 24 is pretty stocked with Treal. I mean, I think the wheels are going to probably be our last addition to that, that RC. Will it be around in, another 2 years, like Hot the way it was? Who knows? I mean, I know guys that there's one team driver on Treal that he's my go-to for 24s. That's all he does. I mean, he knows every screw down to, but he has, multiple 24s. But for me, I still see it, selling the parts. So I think the wheel's going to be a nice push for that market, for that sector, for the 24 guys.
Hmm.
Um,
Especially if they're easier to put together than, let's say, some of the RC four-wheel drive wheels are very difficult to put together,
oh, I
and
did
catching
my
that
first
V.
set. I did
Yeah.
my first set. I know. Um, so yeah, the 24s, there'll be the wheel coming out, and then I think our next big project is going to be these 10.2s with the leaf adapter, and then go into the element stuff, the IFS and the underdrive overdrives. So that will set us up for a little bit for production. That'll take us probably into the new year. Um,
You caught my ear a little bit. Leaf adapter. That and now no. So this is personal experience. Just kind of throwing it in there. There's some slightly different measurements with the element axle as they are compared to the AR-44. We're talking millimeters, but it was a little bit difficult to get the axle mounts on that on my TF2 from the element. It was doable, but it was a little difficult. It wasn't like it would be just nice and easy as if I was using a 10-2 axle. So just keep that in mind, especially when you go to market it. It's not that the 10-2s won't work. You just have to shave the axle. And not everybody's going to be willing to do that because all of a sudden, hey, is that now a drag spot if I want to go back to a linked set, situation.
yeah.
So I just kind of want to keep that out there for because you have customers that are just they're just figuring things out, and so changes are happening every run that they do, because they're learning,
Yeah.
and then they come to someone who has knowledge, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, I'm wrong. Here comes another $1,000 parts.
Yeah. Well, and I think the biggest thing, and I don't want to go too much into social media because we all know how it goes, but the biggest thing is I monitor a lot of our Treal forums closely, and we've ran into some situations, and one of the things I tell my guys on the team is we're grown adults, right? We're here for the hobby, right? For our kids, for our future generation. We're not grown people to fight about trucks. I mean, if you want to do that, great. But, I've gotten into conversations with people that, you know, have one bad experience with Treal and then they write them off and they blast it on social media. Now, as we know, you're producing 1,000 units on a CNC machine, as an example. One may be slightly off a millimeter, and unfortunately, that goes to a customer. Do we want that? Is there QC? Absolutely, but sometimes it does happen, right? But
Mhm.
you can't blow a brand apart because you can't figure out how to use a stock head screw or shave it down. There are fixes. I mean, we have, the RC community like you guys. I know Adam helps out. He posts a lot. There's guys that are knowledgeable that can help and do help Treal. So it's a growing brand, right? We're talking 2015, 5 years, but now Treal's getting into that next stage of the big, I say, the big leagues. So that's why we appreciate our customers and our fans, because if you look at the fans group, there's always a lot of people posting, I got this, it didn't install, use these screws, use the stock screws. It does happen, negative feedback, positive. That's how we learn. That's how we grow as a brand, right?
Mhm.
Negative feedback's taken, criticism, fine. That's how we're going to grow this brand. So
Well, if you didn't have any negative feedback, you wouldn't get better. Just even as a professional
yeah,
and as a coach. So we as your customers are the people you're pushing this. And Adam brings up there was a time that everything was custom built. And you have guys that, hey, all right, well, this is a brand new part. Yes, there's a warranty, but this is also a hobby. Here comes the Dremel.
yeah,
It's just in my view, even though I'm only a couple years, two maybe 3 years in the hobby, my first go to is to make it fit. If it doesn't fit, it's gonna fit. But that's me. I'm not one of those guys that's saying, well, it has to be exactly perfect because XYZ. I bought it. I spent all this money. No, it is
Well,
what it is.
you,
I'm
you,
gonna destroy it anyway.
well, and the other thing, I mean, you told me about that about my Capra, how loud it was. I will say though, it is quiet now, and I know Adam brought up what to change and what to look at, and I
Mhm.
followed your guidance, and see, that's the thing about the community. When I developed the Trail team, and by the way, for all you guys that want to apply, November 2nd, keep a lookout for a Facebook message of where to apply. We're going to select 10 new drivers. When I started the team, I tried to base it around people that, we all got our first shot as a sponsor, right? I remember my first sponsor, right? So I, tried to pick guys that were, hungry, that were going to work. And I also wanted knowledgeable guys, right? I wanted a nice mix, and I have a nice blend now. But I remember Recon G6. I mean, Adam, you learn from everybody, right? Nobody, I'm not in this hobby 35 years, right? I do follow this closely. I teach myself, and I learn from people, and that's what the hobby's about, and that's what I stand for. But going back to the social media, one of the biggest, my counterpart in China, one of the biggest things she likes is how customers join in and say, you know what, this is how I do it and it works, or here's the fix. Those types of things really help people that are new to the hobby, and that's what we're trying to get, right? Keep this going for future generations, and that's how we're going to do it, and that's how Trail stands for their values, I would say, right?
That's exactly, as business owner, as as a parent, that's exactly what I want to see and instill in my kid. And it's great to see, a company as large, as small in terms of the world as Trail is, but also as large as they are, and the footprint that they're growing with the hobby. That's exactly what I want to see in it. And and you look at the events that they sponsor. The Recon G6. That's a huge family oriented event. It's at a campground. People are encouraged to stay, encouraged to, jump in the pool, go have fun. Kids go out on the trail. My tiny human was there. And by the way, we found the GoPro that I thought I had lost that had the video of my of Adam Holper, because he decided to put his pronunciation in the chat. It had with my baby girl setting flags, going on up, and it turns out some of those flags were the actual G6 flags. So hey, so catching that video was awesome. And that just goes to show the value and of that Treel is putting into the hobby as well. It's not just a company making great stuff. It's also a company that's pushing those family values. And out of curiosity, are some of those values going to show up at Motorama this year? Well, next year?
Well, I would say next year.
Yeah. No.
This
2021.
Well, this year, I'm about 90% committed to Florida for a U.S. Scale, but I would like to get to Motorama. Some of the things with the sponsorships, and I get a lot of guys. I just want to touch on this for everybody watching. Get a lot of guys, a lot of requests for sponsorships. Now, if you look at the events that Trail has sponsored, Moab,
That's awesome.
Recon, we're trying to pick those events that have great visibility to the product and a large scale attendance. Now, Motorama would be fantastic, but it's not that we don't want to sponsor, the 50-person crawl, in somebody's park, trail park or, crawl park. It's not that we don't want to do that. We're looking to help everybody. So I get a lot of requests. Some people I have to turn down. I don't like to do that. But we like to spread to those events where we can get the most families, get the most younger generations. And it's nothing against the event organizers for those smaller events, because those mean a lot too, right, to the community. It's just that we're looking for those events that can make an impact, right, on the community, full fledged. So yeah, next year, once January 1 comes, anybody, I want to look at the calendar with the community, and look at the events coming up. I would love, unfortunately, a lot of those big events that I mentioned earlier are all West Coast, involve a plane ticket, and it's it's a big ordeal. It's easier for me to go to Pennsylvania than it is to go to the West Coast and go to, California for 4 days, and all events start on a Thursday, right? And go throughout the weekend. So it's especially with tiny humans too. So
Mhm.
yeah, next year Treal's going to have a big presence. We're going to increase our sponsorships. That's one of my goals for the brand, and we got enough products now to develop to bring us into the new year for sure. And I want to thank our dealers. We got Power Hobby, which is doing fantastic, pushing Treal. I went on their website the other day. It looks fantastic. So Art and his crew, great job. White Rose, they're doing fantastic. Just talked with them today on their second order, going on to their third order of Treal. Fantastic. Hobbytown Tom's River, a newer dealer, just signed on recently. They already placed 2 orders of well. Treal selling out in their store. So these are all great things for the brand. I also do get a lot of emails for hobby shops that want to carry Treal. Now, one of the things that the criteria is that with all this production going on, with all these requests, with all these sponsorships, with all these dealers, it's kind of hard sometimes to take an order for 50 units versus a bigger player that's going to say I want 4,000 units. So we have to strategically pick the dealer or bring on that hobby shop that is interested in Treal, that's going to reorder, that's passionate about the brand. When things slow down a little because production, we have a strong pipeline here of things to get done. Maybe we'll bring on those smaller local hobby shops. The mom and pops are just as important as the franchise. The big like hobby towns, power hobby. Everybody's important. There's not one more better than the other. But from a brand perspective, growing so quickly, we have to do it strategic now.
That's a very great point, especially when you're looking at the geographic aspect of it. I know, and I think this will be more of a private conversation, but I want to put the bug in your ear. Here in Northern Virginia, there's a hobby store out in Winchester, which was actually where Virginia Scalar holds most of their comps. It's called Adrenaline RC Raceway. They just recently bought the store called Hobby Hanger. Now, if you look at regionally, if you look at a map, they are literally the only hobby store in the top, literally in the top two of the five richest counties in America. So I'm gonna throw if you we'll have a private conversation, see if we can get some words in there. But the location in Fairfax and near Loudoun counties is huge. I mean, and uh, they've kind of tapped a lot of me to give them advice on the crawler scene too, because I might buy a lot of stuff from them for parts that Treal doesn't offer.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. I get a lot of requests for 2.2 wheels. Now, I know some brands are stopping making them. 1.55 wheels. I can't tell you how many messages I get a day on suggestions, which, and I will say to the fans, we all review. We don't hit delete. We look at every single one and we look at what makes sense to that, RC market that Treal either offers already, or if it's something new we have to tap into. Like, to be honest with you, the drag scene is huge and it sells, but Treal, that's a new scene. They're currently reviewing models, and they have models in stock. They're looking at parts. It's not that easy to tap into a scene that you have no experience with. So, we're very careful as far as what we go into, what waters we swim in, before we push out product. So yeah, definitely talk to me offline about that. And the last thing I would like to say is, to the fans, the supporters, thank you guys, because you guys, I tell my team drivers, it's a driver's team, right? Because I set it up that way. The sky's the limit with Treal. There's a lot of potential, and the fans and the customers are going to make it that way. It's not just me; it's everybody. So if anybody has problems, definitely reach out to me on Facebook. Any shipping problems, any part problems, happy to take your message. Definitely give my Instagram a follow, RC_Team Zone. I post a lot of new products up there and builds I'm working on. I'm pretty good with builds to get me through the winter now if I ever get my gatekeeper, like everybody else. But yeah, and I'm happy to be back here with MJ. I missed having these chats, these little chit chats. MJ runs a good show, good chats. And, hopefully next time I get on with MJ, have a lot more updates and we'll be heading towards our goal.
I'd really like to see that. And like we said, this is season 2, episode 1. You could bringing it back in from the old channel into the new channel. So I mean, I'm really looking forward to what Treal is offering. I mean, you have very, very high quality parts being produced by from Super Shafty, and I mean, not gonna lie, they are not cheap. Um, they're high quality, but they're not cheap. But what I really like about Treal is, I see a lot of similar materials and the cost, the literal bang for the buck. And the guys like myself who are on a budget, Treal has in my eyes have proven its reliability. But the way I don't trash my 10-3, don't get me wrong. I use it, I don't trash it. But that 6x6 gets flat out abused. And I mean the parts that are on it that are Treal don't have any issues. And that's great. I mean, I've had more issues with bearings than anything, but that's because mud.
Well, and that's good to hear. And that's one of the main missions is to provide those quality parts. Terry Wu, who's the owner of Treal, he really, excuse me, takes pride in his work. Everything that leaves Treal is his vision, his design, and I have to applaud him for that. But before we sign off, I do want to make those aluminum guys happy. With an update that we will be producing aluminum parts instead of brass as well. A lot of guys I spoke with, Power Hobby, a lot of different guys, they want to see aluminum parts. So aluminum parts for the Capra coming out shortly, and then it's going to go across the board. So I
Please
think
tell me, because we're looking at the 10-3, the inner portals right here, right here. Right now they're plastic. They've done me well. Don't get me wrong, but I'd love to see those come out in aluminum. I don't have a stitch of brass on this thing, and it's going to stay that way. But
and to be honest with you, like when we first started the driver team and the parts really started to get a push, the brass was great. I still run the brass on the Element Sendero, and I ran it at G6. It provides the perfect counterbalance weight that I need on the axles. But the problem is when you start getting into the, and I'm still learning the comp scene, and weight is an issue, right? So when you look at some of these counterweights, 56 grams, you're really putting a lot of power, weight down low. And if you're doing 2 axles, front and rear, and my Capra weighs a ton. That's not a comp rate, but so a lot of guys requested aluminum, and like I said, we listen to the customers, and
that's awesome.
I know the outer portals for Capra are almost done in aluminum. And that's going to be another push is the aluminum part. So I just wanted to leave you with that.
Here's the beautiful part. A lot of the outside of the width of the axles and the actual axles themselves, a lot of the Capra parts work with the 10.3. So that's a beautiful little piece right there.
Yeah, universal.
There's
So yeah, so that's another secret that I think people are going to like, just because for those comp guys, not the scale builders, but the comp guys that really focus on weight, that's going to help out big time. So look forward to seeing aluminum parts besides the brass parts. I'm going to try to push for everything we make that there's an aluminum counterpart. So choices. So yeah, we got a lot going on, but all good things. The fans have been great, dealers have been great. It's been a long 7 months, challenging for everybody's family. And you said budget before. I mean, I don't even know what that is. I do have an RC budget, but if you want a rig, find a way to get it, right? So hence my man late today with all my RC parts. But let's keep it going. Everything's great. And if anybody has suggestions for products that want to be developed, definitely reach out to me, and look forward to seeing you guys soon out there on the trails. Um, but next year I'll see a lot more of you guys for sure.
I'm really looking forward to that, especially, having my wife and Tiny Human really enjoyed going. So, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you back at the G6. Even with the
You know,
COVID restrictions, we did what we had to do so we can have it again. And so throw that out there. That goes props to the whole RC community for standing up and just saying, you know what, I would rather just deal with the shenanigans and just get it done.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um,
You
so
know,
I get do you guys have any other personal plugs you might want to throw out? I know you're we so in full disclosure, ladies and gentlemen, by the got it, Adam. In full disclosure, Peter and I both are brand ambassadors for Reefs RC as well as Carry All RC. Love their gear. Yeah. Anyway, so is there anything else you want to kind of like throw in there? I know this is about Treal, but I know you got those brands that you're ambassador for. You want to throw a quick plug out to them?
yeah. So I mean, besides the trail aspect, when MJ and I started, I remember the day that you and I first connected. Right, we started talking about sponsors. If we go back to like day one when we first started talking, so we hooked up with Reef, and Reef has just been pumping out products. I mean, I know you try to break every single one, and but the servos, in my opinion, been with Reef for a while. Great stuff. Cow RC, I'm still with Cow RC. They're doing phenomenal. Use all their maintenance products, and I think I must say, some of the other sponsors like DSM Off Road, Gen's Ace Batteries, and then my favorite, which Adam and Mike George and the whole Carry All team, as you can see,
Got my water bottle behind me.
MJ is being my Vanna White advertising for me. So yeah, Carry All RC, is just has done phenomenal. Since I joined the team, what a great group of guys. The product well thought out. I love the plug in RC car action. The spread was fantastic.
Yeah.
And the whole management team at Carry All RC, Adam, Jeremy, all the people that really, taking that product to the next level. It's doing great, and Mike, George, the mad scientist, what a great product he developed.
And what I love to see, and just kind of like bringing it into looking at what Trill is. There's a core value that's very similar with both Carry All and Trill, and it really comes down to family. So we have a little visitor coming in and say hi. Speaking of family, this is our Jack, and yes, his name is very apt because he's Jack. Anyway, but I love the family aspect that both Carry All and Trial are doing and are pushing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah, and I'll leave everybody with this. Being sponsored by multiple companies, and with so many different options out there, you know, as a team driver or an ambassador, it's hard to stay focused on that vision of where you want to be. I know guys that race for a living that get paid for it, and then I know guys that just want 10, 15 sponsors. And I try to limit myself because I mean I know MJ, we talked about this is if you want to focus on the love and support of a brand, I think it's more important to focus on the quality and supporting it than having 17 logos on your t-shirt. So, I try to believe in a brand that I support, and those names that I mentioned, all great companies with great products coming out. And, the biggest thing, like MJ said, is the collaboration with the community, building a backpack, it's more than a backpack, right? There's many different uses for that backpack. When I was at G6, I put my backpack to use, helped out a guy rebuild an axle, live, there's many great companies out there, and I guess it comes down to who's going to be innovative, who's going to come up with the next big thing, right? And what's the next product that people can look forward to. But I think all companies are doing well. I think the RC community is doing well. I think products are selling. Everybody's finding that RC budget. Everybody I talk to has a car coming eventually. So either they're hiding it from their wife, or they have a secret stash of money. But
too big to hide, though. I'm not gonna lie. That 6x6 was not even. I didn't even bother trying to hide that one.
I don't think that could. But I think the RC business in a whole did well during the pandemic. People were worried. A lot of industries tanked. I can't tell you how many people I talked to during the pandemic. That's like, I'm building this kit right now, and I think I acquired 3 RCs during the pandemic, which was way more than I wanted to. But so yeah, I mean, this was a great chat for sure. And I look forward to the next one, man.
Yeah, Peter. I really appreciate you coming on. And I also, for all the viewers out there, you kind of pushed me to bring it back to season 2. I definitely missed it. Look, he's been bugging me for a while. For a while. And I really appreciate it. I miss doing the interviews.
Well, and one of the things is I kept bugging him because he runs a good show, good channel, and tonight was not supposed to be this level here. It was more of not going live, doing a record, and I was working, and I said, you know what, let's just blow this up, let's just do it, let's get you back in the saddle, and so glad to be the first one in season 2, and look forward to watching more of your episodes.
I appreciate you being the being helping push it forward, because I don't think great when I'm wearing black on a white, from a white cat. I don't think that Mike George knows, but he's gonna get on here too. It's gonna be entertaining. That's a promise. But yeah, no. I really I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to our viewers. I know I had a bunch of people pop in, including but not limited people that I would be professionally linked to that might be tiny human. Well, middle, if you will. And I also want to say, hey, thank you so much for telling us what Treal's doing. Especially with the family, as a family, pushing the hobby, and and the new products. So I want to say thank you one more time. Any parting words? Any parting advice?
I mean, all I could say is, let's just keep it going, the hobby, and, let's make it stay for future generations. So I'm looking forward to seeing everybody next year. I'll definitely be at Recon. Definitely going to map out some events, some good ones next year. Definitely go back up to White Rose. A lot of different, want to get Treal out there more. I know it takes an army. That's why we're doing 10 new drivers. November 2nd is the application date. So we would just want to get more people. We don't want to build too big of a team for you guys that are sponsored drivers. I've been on teams that are 60 plus, and I think 20 is a good number. 20 people that are solid, that believe in the brand. And then next year, just look out for Treal. We're going to be a lot more places.
I love it. Hey, before we go and finish up, I give you permission to screen. If you want to share some of those beautiful IFS pictures of that trail runner. I don't know if you got it.
I don't have it on this computer.
Oh, darn. I was trying. So check it out. RC_team zone. I put it again in the chat. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you give him a follow. Check him out on Facebook. He's all over the Treal fan pages. And ladies and gentlemen, Peter Lundberg, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you, everyone, and we'll talk soon. And MJ, you have a good one, pal.
You too. Have a great one. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Have a safe night. Stay safe during this and during these, what's the word I'm going to use? Trying times. There we go. Trying to stay away from the lingo of corporate America. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. And we will see you on the other side.